So this is Baruch Fleischman, and this is the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. And what's the elevator about? Well, nothing is, the elevator is no more about than what Rabbi Mimran is saying. Is that what we're looking to do here is connect ourselves to the divine in reality, the one that goes beyond our physical needs. So I start here about a new topic. He says it's lesson 4. I just had to think that, I know that Rabbi Mimran, I knew him personally, was my teacher. Who he is, a very busy man, who he is connected to, what is within inside of him in his past, what is his soul like. Because he's written this book, lesson number 4 is how to connect. And this is part 1. And he's going to start teaching us Jewish meditation techniques. So he said like this. He starts right. There's no introduction here. Like all the other parts of this book, he has always a quote. Some very, very interesting quotes. So he says, what is Jewish meditation? For the most part, meditations used in non-Jewish religions are somewhat similar in their techniques, but their goals are totally different. One of the most powerful uses of meditation is the gain and awareness of the spiritual. Although we are surrounded by areas of spirituality, we are not usually aware of it. Spiritual sensations are quite faint and usually overshadowed by the words of world of the senses. Now let me read that again. The sensations which are spiritual are very faint because the nature of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu is not physical. So it's beyond faint, and usually overshadowed by the world of the senses, which is very important to us for our survival. Even in a state of sensory deprivation, the self-generated thoughts of the mind tend to obscure spiritual sensation. However, if a person can quiet down all extraneous thoughts, he can then tune into the spiritual. This tuning in is what is known as the mystical experience. In this sense, meditation is the most important techniques of mystics all over the world. Meditation can be defined as a controlled manner of thinking. In your mind's eye, your vision there in your head, you might imagine how various arrangements would look, and even plan how to move the heavy pieces of furniture. During that half hour, you will have been meditating on furniture arrangement. Now, we do this all the time. I do. It is as simple as that. There need not be anything esoteric or mysterious about meditation. No special surroundings are required. You don't have to have a dark room. Nor must any particular body position be assumed. You could have meditated while walking around the block, while sitting back in your easy chair, or while relaxing in the tub. The very fact that for a specific time period you were thinking about a specific topic, rather than letting your mind wander at random, makes it a meditative experience. This is very interesting. Now, what's interesting to me is that my orientation is that prayer or trying is the ultimate form of meditation. However, he's not saying that. Not at this point. If this meditation is actually going to be a controlled thinking experience, then you will need a technique to rid yourself of undesired thoughts. You might gently push the extraneous thoughts out of your mind, or otherwise pull your mind back to the desired subject. Now, this is very true of me in terms of my prayer. And so I try to really try to pray hard. But I'm always trying to push the extraneous thoughts out, come back in. Now, whatever method you use to keep your mind on the subject, in doing so, you have been developing the rudiments of a full-fledged meditative technique. Now, this is what he said, that we said previously, and we learned previously, that prophecy, or being able to see and connect to God, is not something that's a gift. You have to work at it. So, these are the rudiments, he says, of a full-fledged meditative technique. So, let us try a little exercise by stopping, he says, to think for 2 minutes. Absolutely no thoughts for 2 minutes. Stop reading and try it now. Okay, I have a timer here. I'm going to take my timer. Let's get your timer out there. Put in 2 minutes. Wow. Okay, that was 2 minutes. It wasn't easy. I was constantly waiting to see the 2 minutes up. So, because I want to read the rest of this. Now, he just said right there that this is a meditative technique, but it's the fundamental part. It's the beginning part. First, you have to rid your mind. He says like 2 minutes. Wow, 2 minutes. It's a long time to be silent. So he said, you can obviously see from this small exercise that the mind has a mind of its own. So your thoughts keep coming in there anyway, even though you're trying not to think. Some might have been thinking how easy this exercise was. However, the fact that you were thinking these thoughts at that moment already failed the exercise. There are thus 2 parts of the mind. One that is under the control of the conscious will and one that is not. The part of the mind under control of the will is called the consciousness, while that which is not is called the unconscious or subconscious. Now let's see, the consciousness is what is under the control. Let me see, the part of the mind under the control of the will, you want something, is called the consciousness. While that part which is not, is called the unconscious or subconscious. Since the subconscious is not under the control of the will, it's not something you want, it's happening. One cannot control when it passes into the conscious mind because it's just doing what it does, and it's not something you're trying to do. Sort of, I think. One of the goals of meditation, then, is to gain control of the subconscious part of the mind. Now, this is really, 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 really important. If one were to succeed, one would also gain a high degree of self-mastery, because there's a discipline to be able to do this. This, too, is a goal of meditation. This explains why so many disciplines use breathing exercises as a meditative device. Breathing usually occurs automatically and is therefore normally under the control of the unconscious, the subconscious mind. Unless you are consciously controlling your breathing, it will mirror your unconscious mood. So sometimes you breathe fast, sometimes you breathe slow. There's a sort of like it's like a ruach, it's like a rhythm that's going inside of you, but changes. It changes according to what's going on with your body, but it's not mental. However, people use this. This is one reason why breathing is one of the indicators in a lie detector test. Yet, if you wish, you can control your breath and do so quite easily. Let's read one more time. He says your breathing actually has something to do with your lie detector test. With lie detector tests, they measure how you breathe. You're apparently differently when you tell a lie. Yet, if you wish, you can control your breath. You can. You can take conscious control of it and do so quite easily. Breathing, therefore, forms a link between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Wow, wow, wow. By learning how to concentrate on and control your breath, you can go on to learn how to control the unconscious mind. He says that breathing, which in Hebrew the word for breath is neshima, and the word for soul, that is the pneumius of a person's relationship, which is really unconscious, the person's not conscious of it, it's called neshama. There's a yud in the neshima. Okay, anyway, the same is true of the visions that appear in the mind's eye. Since they are not under the control of the conscious mind, they are obviously coming from the unconscious. They just appear. You're just thinking and something pops into your head. Controlling them is very difficult without practice, but he's saying that with practice you can do better. One can learn to control them, however, and doing so also serves to form a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Now, I'm going to read that again, try to help us out here. He says you can't control these pop-ups, which come from the unconscious part of your physical needs. This is a long-term thing. Is, I got to drive to here, I got to get that food, I got to go over here, I got to go over there, I got to get this done, I got that done. That's all going on. And it's affected in your breathing, he says. One can learn to control them, however, and doing also serves to form a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious mind. So one of the most powerful benefits of meditation is control over the unconscious mind. One learns to use the conscious mind to control mental processes that are usually under the control of the unconscious. Gradually, more and more of the subconscious becomes accessible to the conscious mind, and one gains control of the entire thought process. Now, let me just come back because my mind wanders. In the middle of this, my mind wanders. So you can learn to use the conscious mind to control mental processes. In other words, you're actually trying to block out this subconscious popping up into your head. that are usually under the control of the unconscious. Gradually, more and more of the subconscious, then, becomes accessible to the conscious mind, and one gains control of the entire thought process. Now that is to be seen. So for the ending, Rabbi Mimran writes, for the most part, meditations are used in non-Jewish religions, are somewhat similar in their technique, but their goals are totally different. This is Baruch Fleischman. We've been listening to Rabbi Yosef Chaim Mimran, Jewish meditation techniques.